Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and I am your cruise director on the Magical Mystery Tour. I know it's summer here in the southern hemisphere, but today we're going to do a completely cool toned look. Is it grey style? We're using as many cool tone things as we can find. But before we get to that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell to be alerted to any new uploads. And if you like this video at the end, please give it a big thumbs up. Let's go get started. So first up, I know you don't think of an illuminating product as cool tone, but this is the closest to cool tone that I can get. Normally mine are a gold base, but I have got the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in the shade, I think it's 901, which is Fair Glow. So this has, whilst it's still illuminating, it has a more cool toned in that it's got a pink shift to it as opposed to the golden shift. So this is suitable for people that generally lean more neutral, don't like a lot of colour in their products. We are going to add colour, but if you have a neutral or a cool toned undertone, this will work for you. Now, my undertone is, can you hear that plane? We've had some really interesting plane activity late yesterday afternoon, last night, and today there's been a lot of extra planes over us. So anyway, back to where I was. If you are more neutral toned, more cool tone leaning, this should work for you. And I'm thankful that I always thought that I was completely warm tone, and whilst warm tones probably look better on me than cool tones, I am neutral and can work with that. So, and when I say I'm going in cool tone, we're going in real cool toned. First up, for foundation, well first up, second up, for foundation, we're actually using the Missha BB Perfect Cover BB Cream in the shade 21. They have the shade 21 and 23. This is light beige. K-Beauty shades of 21 and 23 tend to lean quite grey toned. I'm just going to take a break while this next plane goes overhead. So hopefully that's done now. It looked like I went out and had a look because Jelly gets very bothered by them. She thinks they're giant bees. It looked like two aquaplanes. So we do have tourism operators here in Hobart that have planes that can land on the water. So there were two private charter planes right next to each other. Interesting. Anyway, back to the Missha BB Cream. This is really cool toned. This is, I don't know if you can see, and I'm just going to turn my lights down. Just turn one of my lights down. This is quite grey toned. Like, look at that. So sometimes this can make you look like you're not particularly well because of how grey toned it is. But I am that pale and it works for my colouring. It is an SPF 25, I think. I don't use it for the SPF coverage in it because I use stronger SPF. And it does have a bit of a smell scent to it. Now we've got flies. Gosh, this is all my fault. I've left the door open today. And I just shouldn't. I should put the screen door, leave the screen door to the backyard. But I like the animals to be able to come in and out as they choose. You can apply this with your fingers, with a brush, which is my preferred application, or with a dampened beauty sponge. I've just, for someone who always used a sponge, the last probably 5 months I've really leant in back to brushes. So that gives a really nice natural coverage. Still lets your skin shine through, but it does give you pretty good coverage. I'm going in with the NARS Radiant Concealer in Creme Brulee, which in itself, as you can see, is relatively cool toned. Give that a second to sit there. So I don't know, like normally I choose components to wear that are sort of cool toned. I don't go for an all over cool toned look, so this will be interesting. Will I look like a corpse? So I've let that sit for a minute. Just gives better coverage, and now stamp that out. And here comes a fly again. Oh. And I tell you, I think I'm going to have to go and shut the screen door. Now we're going to set very lightly. I am just using, what have I got here? The DB Hydra set. It is a translucent powder. Like, it's a translucent powder. I don't want to add any colour with my setting powder. And of course we could have gone in with an even lighter, I've got lighter under eye concealers. They're probably a bit more warm toned or peachy in colour corrective, so this one works quite well. So I'm just doing the T-zone, and then I'm very lightly just going to dust my face. With a brush. Now I will spray my face to add some moisture back to that, and I am going to prep my eyelids, and I am going to do my brows. I will show you, just because to save some time, I'm going to use quite a cool tone brow pencil. Again, keeping all cool toned. I'll be right back. So my eyebrows are looking very boxy and hectic. You're welcome. Okay, looking. Let's just ignore it and see if we can detract from that before the end of this video. Contour. I'm starting off with a liquid contour, and that is the Sheglam. This is the shade Soft Tan. She's grey. She is definitely a contour and not a bronzer. I am waiting on the Rare Beauty one to come, though. I think I've got the warmer shade out of them. I looked at the two lighter shades, and I went for the one that wasn't quite as grey but was more like a neutral bronzer in the end. But because we are contouring, obviously go where the natural shade of your face is, and you can generally see that when you look straight ahead at a mirror. You'll see a slight darkness, shadow under there, and we're starting to just tap up. We don't want this to go too far everywhere. We want to keep it in that shade bit, so it's more pushing and pushing up slightly. Keeping it under the cheekbone, because we're not bronzing, we're contouring. If I was bronzing, it would sit more on the cheekbone and above where the sun hits, where we are creating shadow. tap that in. Now, let's use that along the jawline. And in this instance, we can afford to buff. But on the face, we want to keep it in line. Don't forget down the sides of your neck, creating shadow there too. And then around the hairline. This one really blends easily. Say what you want about Sheglam products. Not all are great, but they're base products. They're eyeshadow products are, yeah. But the Sheglam, the blush, the highlighter, the contour, their foundations are incredible. It's been quite some time since I've purchased anything from them. So I don't know what their newer releases are like, and I may look into that at some stage. Contouring the side of the nose. I've just slipped there, but yeah, as this shade is soft tan, it is not tan. She's greyish. Using a narrow brush for the nose. And just under the lip. And in fact, I might just go on the edge of the lip. I've got no lips, so and I'm not real comfortable in doing that. I would do that more as an underpaint as opposed to what I'm doing now. But we are looking sculpted. Going in with a blush now. Now I've got a cream blush, and this is the Fenty cream blush. This is Raisin Standardz. This is meant to suit any complexion. It is a cool toned berry shade. And we're adding some colour into it so that we're not going to end up looking too grayscale. But you can get cool toned pinks. I've got a couple of cool toned. I've got Patrick Tar there that is cool toned, and berry shades tend to be cooler toned. So if you've got them, that's where we're looking there. Now I'm just going to go. I've got the Kevyn Aucoin. This is his contour book. Volume 3, I think it is. There is a new one out now. Going into the lighter shade and just using that to set down that contour. You don't have to, but it will extend the longevity of it if you set any cream product down with powder. And then I was going to use the Kevyn Aucoin, but I'm going to use this pink in here in the center. She is still cool toned, and just tapping that over the top to set that down. So going in now with an grayscale eyeshadow palette. This is Girl Sculpt. I don't know if that's a brand. I will find out the details and it will be listed down below. But this is it here. I picked this up in Melbourne. So it is super, super cool toned. Going in first, like even this white tone, off-white, is a grey base to it. I want that just on the top part of my eyes. Now, let's go in with this light greyish and just tuck this through the transition. You can see how cool tone that is. Just going back and forth. Oh, I can feel I've got something in my eye. There's a hair from somewhere. And just, it's a really big fluffy Morphe brush. I think they're discontinuing a lot of these brushes now with the new range, which I am still using and have more coming. So just looking at that there. I'm really happy with where that is. Now, going into this darkest shade now and tapping that off, you can see she's super cool toned. So much more pigmented than what I thought it would be, given that this is, I bought this from a K beauty store and you know, we hear that they're notorious for not being particularly pigmented. But we're not having a problem with that. Is it as, does it go on quite as heavy as other products? Probably not, which means for me it's good because I don't think it's going to allow me to be too heavy-handed, which, shocker, I'll admit it, I know I can be. But also what it does mean is that for someone that's not super confident in their application, I'm just going into the transition-y shade, it means that you can slowly build up what you're doing there. Now, going into that light shade again, and I'm just spreading that across my mobile lid and up in that corner there. You can see how pigmented that is because it's just flicked straight across there. So go back into that dark and stamp that back in to add that little bit of depth there. Okay, I'm going in with, I don't know if you can still get these. This is a Flower Beauty eyeliner now. That's in a grey scale tone. Now under the eyes, into that darkest shade. I am really liking this cool tone. Like, I'm really liking it actually. A lot more than what I thought I would. I am going to just use that. I know this is the same as what we've already put on the outer corner, but because I'm going in on a liner, it's just slightly deepening that near the lash line. Now you could leave it like that, but we do have this shimmer and look at it. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so sparkly. Can you see that? Can you see the microfine glitter that is in it? It's just super fine. It's a dazzle shade. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love it. Just going back now. We like to reassess, yeah? Go back into that dark and just stamp on that outer corner. This does have a little bit, that sparkle does have a little bit of fallout, just as an FYI. Cleaning that brush off. And this diffuses beautifully. Oh yeah. Now, let's see. Even that, so as I said, there's a little bit of glitter fallout. Most of that is brushing off, which is good to know. So just assess. I haven't put anything else back on this brush. I am just literally going over the edge with the fluffy brush that we used for the transition. I am going to go and put some mascara on, and I'll be right back to do our lips. But yeah, now you know what I didn't do? I didn't do anything under my eyes. You can see I did just get a little bit of mascara underneath my eyes. I've just gone into that transition-y shade. I'm running the risk looking up because my mascara has not set, which is evidence I've just touched it on this brush. But oh well, we'll manage. Instead of trying to look up, I'm trying to look sideways. That's new. And then just going into that lighter shade, just underneath the eye there. These flies are going to be the death of me. How do you know you live in Australia? Well, the flies make the flies. The flies and the spiders. For those that are overseas that watch, yes, we do get kangaroos in our yards. We don't get kangaroos here in Tasmania. We get smaller ones called wallabies. And we live near sort of a nature reserve a couple of streets over near bushland, and we quite often end up, our house is on a sloping hill, and they go from yard to yard, and we're at the bottom of a group of houses, and we quite often, as they're trying to get through the properties, end up with them in our yard, which is fine. We let them out and worry about them. But yeah, this is where we are now. Now I have got the new MAC Cool Spice. Have I got my normal, put spice on my hand, and then next to it I'll put Cool Spice. So that's spice and that is Cool Spice. So you can see it is more cooler toned. Let's not all the way to the corner. I'm trying to remember to do that more often because of my delightful resting bitch face. That pulls down. And God, I got crooked lips. I've barely got a lip, but I've got a crooked lip. So it still pulls a little warm on me, I feel. And I would probably be more inclined to wear Maya from Home Beauty, which I'm just going to do there. And just slightly over that center post. Because what have I got here? I have got the re-release of Folio, the MAC Greige Angelina shade. That is it there. I've got a couple of greige lipsticks. I never had this first time round. Will I look dead? No. So just blotting that with my finger. And she's quite cool toned. What I will do is now, oh, that's normal spice. Don't like that. I am just going to grab Cool Spice again and just redefine along the edge of my lips. And that is where we are. It has been a noisy filming time. So I do apologise. I hope you've managed to quite cope with that. Oh, dear Lordy. But this is a cool look. So I didn't use any highlighter today, and I don't think that I need it. But I'm looking a bit more chiselled. I'm not looking sick. This is how you do cool tone. Add that bit of colour. Even though it's cool, add a bit of colour with your blush, and that'll sort of bring a bit of life back to you. What do you think? How gorgeous is this? I am going to invest in, for someone who's trying to be more sustainable, there is the probability that I'm going to invest in more than these. But that is it, my friends. I hope you like. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this? Until next time, take care. Bye.